Your Random Pal here, and on today's video I'm going to show you 2 easy ways to tell if a late 70s Trans Am has a Pontiac V8 motor or an Oldsmobile V8 motor. So if you're looking to buy a late 70s Trans Am, or you just don't have a lot of mechanical knowledge, this is the video for you. But before I dive right into the subject, I'm going to give you a brief history lesson on the Trans Am. In 1967, the Pontiac Firebird made its debut alongside the Chevy Camaro, which was the shared F-body platform. But the Trans Am didn't come around until 1969, and it was an options package on the Pontiac Firebird 400. The following year, 1970, it became its own model. And my car right here, a 1976 Trans Am, this one features a 400 Pontiac V8, and this is the last year before the optional Oldsmobile motor. Now from 1969 all the way up to 1976, these Trans Ams came equipped with either the Pontiac 400 V8 and or 455 V8. Let's take a look under the hood and I'll show you a Pontiac motor. This one's the 400 6.6 liter under the hood of this one. Now in 1977, Pontiac did some cross-branding in the Trans Am. They introduced the Oldsmobile 403 motor to their lineup in the Trans Am. Let's take a look at the Pontiac motor and I'm going to show you the differences. The first easy way to tell if you got a Pontiac motor you're looking at under the hood or an Oldsmobile motor is take a look at the valve covers. The Pontiac valve covers, they're a lot easier to get off and on the engine. It's only got 4 bolts on the valve covers on a Pontiac motor. But now take an Oldsmobile motor, like the 403, there's 10 bolts. Takes a lot more time to get those valve covers off and on. Now the second easy way to identify a Pontiac motor from an Oldsmobile motor is look at the very front of the engine right here. On the Oldsmobile motors, there is a big long tube where you fill the oil. It's not here on the Pontiac motors. On the Pontiac motors, you'll fill the oil in the valve covers. Now that I've shown you 2 easy ways to identify whether the Trans Am that you're looking at is equipped with an Oldsmobile V8 or a Pontiac V8, I'm going to go a lot more in depth with you to tell you how these cars came from the factory. And this is great info if you're looking to buy one. You just want to know how to restore the car correctly if you're looking to have a factory original car. Now, let's start out with the Pontiac V8 motor. The V8 motor from 1955 all the way up to 1979, there's a lot of interchangeability. A lot of people swap heads between the years. Usually you have to swap the heads in the intake manifold together. Now on my 76 Trans Am, it's got older heads on it. The one exception to the rule of Pontiac motors is the 301 V8 motor introduced in the late 70s. Now, the heads intake will physically bolt to the 301 motor off of, say, a 400, 455, or what have you, but they have a shorter deck and the coolant passages do not line up. So, they are not compatible at all. I'll talk a little bit more about the 301 V8 in a minute. But now let's start with 1977, the first year for the optional Oldsmobile V8 motor. And a lot of the reason this motor was introduced, I think, is because of emissions. In the 70s, the federal government putting a lot of pressure on the car manufacturers. Now the 403 Oldsmobile only came equipped with the automatic transmission. And in certain places like California or high altitude areas, the 403 engine was the only engine you could get in the Trans Am. Let's start out with 1977, Smokey and the Bandit year. Actually, the Smokey and the Bandit Trans Am was a 76 Trans Am and it was filmed in 1976, but they made it look like a 1977 Trans Am. Now in 1977, there was actually 3 different engine options to choose from on the Trans Am. 2 400 V8 motor Pontiac engines and 1 the Oldsmobile motor, 403. So the Trans Am 400 motor, you had the W72, which was the top of the line. The other 400 Pontiac motor that was offered was the L78 400, and it was not as powerful as the W72. And then you had the 403 Oldsmobile motor, which was not very well rated on the horsepower ratings as well. In comparison, the L78 and the L80 were close to the same on the horsepower ratings. Now, if you're looking to identify the W72, the Pontiac 400 motor, on the shaker scoop in 1977, it would either read TA 6.6, which, if correct, that would be a Pontiac 400 motor with the W72 package. Now, if it said 6.6 liter, and it's spelled liter as in L-I-T-R-E, that's how they spelled it on the shaker scoop, it could either be the Pontiac 400 L78 motor or the Oldsmobile 403 motor, which is the L80 code. The engine lineup remained the same in the 1978 Trans Am. Now in 1979, that's where the engine lineup changed a bit. As far as the Pontiac 400, there was only one offering this year, and officially it's just listed as the Pontiac 400. So was it an L78 400 or was it the W72 400? Well, that's where things get debated on and get kind of confusing. I've seen things on the internet that say it's the L78 400. I've also seen people say it's the W72 400. And I've seen on this thread where they said it is the L78 with the W72 package on it. And to clarify what they meant, they said the invoice had L78 on it, but on the build sheet it had both codes, L78 and W72. Now, my opinion, I tend to think it is a W72. The shaker scoop, if you ordered the Pontiac 400 in 1979, read TA 6.6. So, if you got any more information to shed light on the subject, comment in the comments below. The other offering, the 403, continued on. This would be the last year for the Oldsmobile 403. And if you ordered that, it would say 6.6 liter on the shaker scoop. Now, as a credit option, it's kind of rare to see, but they did offer the 301 Pontiac V8 as a credit option that you could get. On the 79's, if you got the Pontiac 400 motor, you would have got a 4-speed manual transmission. And of course, the Oldsmobile 403 motor, you would have got the automatic transmission. But if you got the 301 V8 motor, you could have had either or, automatic or manual. Now, to go a step further and end off the second generation of the Trans Am, which lasted till '81, before the new body style, the third gen came out, the Knight Rider style. In 1980, the engine options were the 301 V8, or you could get the turbocharged version of the 301 V8, or in a very rare case, the car came with the 305 Chevy V8 motor, and that was, from my understanding, California only. So those are very rare. Now in 1980, they did not offer a manual transmission in the Trans Am. I know, kind of sucks. But that's how they came from the factory that year. Now rounding off the second generation Trans Am in 1981, Pontiac did bring back the 4-speed manual. It's only available on the 305 Chevy motor, as all the 301 V8 motors had the automatic transmission. Now, as far as the shaker scoop decals, or in case of the turbo, the offset turbo bulging hood, they would have read TA 4.9 for the non-turbo car and turbo 4.9 on the hood bulge for the turbo cars. Now, going back a little bit to 1979, the Trans Am equipped with the 301 V8 that year, the shaker scoop would have been void of a decal from my research. They did offer the TA 4.9 decal on it, as in 1979 the 301 was only a credit option. Now some of y'all may be wondering, what is the easiest way to tell the difference between the Pontiac V8 motor and the Chevy 305 motor, since they were installing Chevy motors in the Trans Am? And I'd like to say that they're painted orange or even black, whereas the Pontiacs are painted blue, but in the late 70s to early 80s, General Motors went corporate with corporate blue. So across the line, most of the engines got painted a corporate blue color. I think that started in 1977 and went through maybe 82, 83. But the easiest way I found to identify the difference between the Pontiac V8 motor and the Chevy V8 motor is to look at the intake manifold. Specifically in the back of the car, or the back of the engine I should say. The distributor on the Pontiac, it does not run through the intake manifold. But on the Chevy there's a hole on the back side of the intake manifold and the distributor runs right through that hole. That's, to me, is the easiest way. I know there's a lot of differences between the intake on the Pontiac versus the Chevy if you study them. But to me, that's just the surefire, quick way to identify it. Also to note, the Chevy motor, as far as where it bolts up to the transmission, is different, the bell housing pattern. So if you got a Pontiac motor, or even Oldsmobile or Buick, remember this is the acronym for it, BOP, those all bolt to the same transmission, the Buick, Olds, Pontiacs. But the Chevy has a different bolt pattern. It's not such a big deal if you got a manual transmission because you can swap out the bell housing. But got an automatic transmission, you'll probably have to get one for either the BOP or the Chevy bolt pattern. Or there might be some kit out there where you can modify it to work with the different bolt patterns. But just wanted to let y'all know that. Now, as a side note, before I end this video, I want to talk about a tuner car company in the late 70s called DKM, which stood for Dennis and Kyle Meckham, or Meekum. I don't know exactly how you say their last name. The Meckham brothers, or Meekum brothers, as they're also known. But in the late 70s, they took on the task of bringing up the horsepower ratings. As we all know, the federal government, with their new emissions standards back then, was choking out the horsepower ratings of the car manufacturers. They didn't know how to deal with both incorporating emissions standards on their cars and keeping the horsepower ratings up. So that's where these guys came in, and they offered like a small run of what they called the Macho Trans Am. Yeah, it'd be Macho Man driving a Macho Trans Am. Anyway, they started in 1977, modifying the Pontiac 400 motor. In 1978, they slapped on a turbocharger on some of their Macho Trans Ams from a company called HO Racing Specialties. Now, this added a considerable amount of money to the price of the Trans Am, but, you know, turbocharger, it's going to up the horsepower. They only made 8 that year. You're not likely to see any of them unless you go to like the Trans Am Nationals, a gathering for these cars. It takes place every year in Fairborn, Ohio. It's up near Dayton if you're not familiar with the Fairborn. In 1979, the following year, they made 22 turbocharged Pontiac 400s. So there was another turbo model V8 other than the 301. Now in 1980, they tried their hand at souping up the newly introduced 301 turbo V8. Got the horsepower up a little bit, but it was a struggle as a new power plant basically. And so they only made 6 before calling it quits with their run on the DKM Trans Am. So I hope you found this video very informative. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. Smash that subscribe button, and until next episode, don't worry, be random!
And if you never ran a miss another random car video,
remember, ring that bell!